So, right. I will call the Clarksburg Sanitary Board meeting to order. Can I have a mover and seconder for the approval of the sanitary board minutes, please?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have the discussion and updates. If I can get Dan or Anthony to come forward and speak about the Milford Street area improvements, the Arlington sewer extension, and the 2 phases of the project, please.
I'll take the first two. For the Milford Street area, do I need to be there?
Please.
Okay.
If that's all right.
Sure.
Thank you.
For the Milford Street area, we are starting to get submittals in. The first one came in from Pro on Friday of last week. I'm still going through that. Easement progress is ongoing. When we started the easement process for this, Jimmy Cann was still the attorney, and he already had done the title work for the first half of the ones we needed, so I kept those with him, but Tim's going to help me on the rest of them. I owe him some updated exhibits. I'll have those to him in the morning. And then on the Arlington sewer extension, we received our facilities plan approval letter from DEP, and we are still working on securing the loan for the matching funds for Army Corps. Working with the accountant, Dave Shriver, and Tom Amon at Steptoe & Johnson. I think I've been on a couple calls with Dan and Kim, and we're going to be able to reduce the amount a little bit, reduce the loan amount that Army Corps needs, but it'll all be due whenever we award the project.
Thank you.
Next hitter. I'll give an update on the Phase 5A and then Phase 5B projects. The Phase 5A is the facility plan was approved by the DEP, the planning document. We're waiting for facility plan approval. We've talked to them. I don't think they're going to have any comments, but we need to push that a little bit. Design for the project is starting. Anthony's already met with Drew to discuss plans for updating some of the stuff at the wastewater plant, reviewing some existing information. The aerial mapping has been ordered and is in process. We should have that, I believe, at the end of next week. Field design and supplementary surveying will start after that is complete. So we should be out in the field, not next week, but the week after, starting to do that. We are up for the additional funding. Remember, this project also included a piece of funding from the WDA of $1.85 million. It is on the agenda in Charleston on Thursday. I will go down and make sure that everything, if there's any questions, otherwise they don't have much public comment at those. They just kind of read the results and you can just sit in the audience, but in case there are, I'll be there and stuff. The Phase 5B went through the IJDC, the technical committee. They did want to change the funding. I thought we were going to get debt forgiveness on that, but they wanted to make it all loan because I guess our state revolving funds are being shrunk of how much they could do. I worked with Dave Shriver to try to say, hey, we got a lot of stuff going on in Clarksburg with the sewer lines. I know Tom and Johnny are working on and stuff like that, but I was encouraged. And another reason I'm going down there is to apply for $1 million from the WDA again for the EEG money. So
1.5 million, it will take a deep job to our rates or?
Well, I still think we can do it within the rates. Probably part of the issue, that's why I tried to get in there, is when the rate ordinances were passed, it was projected that there were some internal projects, cleaning and maintenance we would have to do. I said, that's what that money was set aside for. I'll have Dave Shriver relook at it, but I do think we can have a pretty good chance of getting that $1 million from them. And it may actually work out a little bit better if we can do the coordination like the city manager has us working on with the pavement. If we had done it all through DEP, they make you spend the loan first, and if there's any money, they take their grant back. With that WDA money, it'll be the opposite. She has to get it spent in a certain amount of time. That was a question to us when I talked to her about it was, is this project going to move quickly? I said, well, the city manager's making me move it quickly because of pavement. She's trying to coordinate all this stuff. And it's a little bit outside the paving area, but we're trying to talk to the DOH to extend that. It's just on the other side near Notre Dame High School. We're trying to get them, they're going to pave the West Pike and Main Streets, and we're trying to get our stuff done ahead of time and stuff. So I'm still encouraged that we will get that money. And I intend to apply on Friday after they vote, hopefully to approve us on the first phase on Thursday. So our application, in fact, we've already worked with Kim to do our application. It's just in the queue.
With the process of the application, how long of time is that?
It will probably be either on the agenda in September or October. Pretty quickly, yeah. All that money's under a tight time frame with even the money we get. If we get it approved Thursday, we have to be under contract by the end of 2024 with our contractor. So you can see it doesn't give us much time for that federal money and stuff. So that's kind of where we are on those big projects.
Thank you. Next, we have the consideration of adoption by the board of a petition of the sanitary board, which would request the city of Clarksburg to issue sewer design revenue bonds, Series 2023A, to authorize the design and pre-construction activities for additions, betterments, and improvements to the public sewer system. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Yes, I'll so move.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion?
Under discussion, Kim, is this where you're requesting the proposals is the 1.5 million? And the 14th, the rates are, are you getting any interest from the banks?
Just one with some questions so far, then one of our audits, it was West Banco.
And then you haven't heard from any of the other banks? Okay, that's all the question I have.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Next, we have the consideration of adoption by the board of a sweep resolution which would authorize monthly electronic transfer of funds to the municipal board commission in amount sufficient to pay the monthly debt service on the sewer design revenue bond series 2023A and other related costs. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
I'll so move.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against?
Aye.
You in
Sorry.
favor? Okay.
Sorry.
So moved. Next, we have consideration of award of bid for purchase of chemicals, liquid chlorine, sulfur dioxide, and sodium, I'm going to call it sodium P, for the Clarksburg wastewater treatment plant. Can I have a mover and a seconder,
Madam Chair,
please?
can I
Yes.
ask a question before? Ed, Drew, can we go ahead and do this in one motion? As long as we specify everything. Okay, I move that we award the bid for sulfur dioxide to Citgo Water in the amount of $6,500 weight. The bid for chlorine to Brentag Incorporated at a rate of $79.50 per hundredweight. And the bid for sodium permanganate to Brentag in the amount of $14.49 per gallon.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Next, we have the unfinished business. We had brought this from the last meeting. Phase 5/-B LTC, the engineering agreement. Can I have a mover and a seconder, and then I'll open for discussion?
Is this the motion to approve the agreement? Tim, are we okay with, did you get a chance to look at it?
Yes, sir. I sent a memo to the sanitary board on July 17th. Hopefully you got it. If not, I can share it with you. But carefully review the contract, made some suggestions to Mr. Farrell. He agreed with those suggestions. made some suggestions to Mr. Farrell. He agreed with those changes. They've all been made. Most importantly, we insisted that we have a project representative on site all the time, which was not in the original draft. And Mr. Farrell's agreed to that. So I recommend that the sanitary board approve the contract as amended.
Okay, I move that we award the Phase 5 VLTCP engineering agreement with Thrasher Engineering,
I'll second.
Thrasher Group.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Oh,
Pardon me. I would underline, if you haven't got a copy of the memo, I'll get that to you. I'll just give it to Kelly and she can distribute it. But we have obligations in projects too. There's a lot of reasons why projects get delayed. Time is money, always, everywhere. So our obligation is to work closely with the engineers and I think we'll be able to do that. So I'll give it.
Thank you, Tim.
I had a mover and a seconder.
I so move.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we have the report, so we will go to, Mark, did you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Right?
Yeah, just one more follow-up question to Kim on the proposal. When you receive the proposals, do we have to wait till the next sanitary board meeting? There would be any need? I mean, as far as, or is that gonna be something that's gonna be done administratively? As far as who the low, let's say you get 2 bids from the bank,
Right,
and the low one is West Banco, hypothetically,
right. And
we
then
would have to approve West Banco. Is that
Right,
correct?
we could recommend it to you, but I'm happy to send them all to the members if that's what you
I
want.
mean, if you would send us a summary, but my question is, do we have to have a special meeting to award that?
I don't believe so. Tom Amon has us on schedule,
Okay.
so I believe he has it for the September meeting.
Okay, fine.
Thank
My
you.
only question, so I have.
Kim?
Yes. I believe everybody has a copy of my report. Just attached copies of the July summary pages for each fund, and we are just about on track at 8.33% of the year. The expenditures are, oh yeah, they're under 2. Revenues are just a little bit low. There's the balances for each fund, and then I added about the RFPs that went out that are due back on August 14th for the Arlington project. And then we did put a notification regarding the project and with the water bills to be billed out on August 14th. And I had a call from Stonewood City Councilman, and he was requesting pool adjustments for their citizens. So I reached out to Tim, and he had done some research, and he found there's at least one city in West Virginia that does them, but there's a few that do not. So he said he could prepare a written policy if the board wanted to review it, if that's something the board wanted to look at, giving pool credits to.
My feeling on it is we never, in the past, in my years here, we never gave pool adjustments to anyone that wasn't a city resident. We didn't do it for the satellite customers. So, I mean, it's always been, it's been sort of been our, maybe our policy. We probably need to have a written policy, but I, for one, I don't think we should give it to anyone other than Clarksburg residents. That's just my feeling on it. And I don't know how you feel about it, Mark. Or Tim, what do you think? I mean, what's your opinion?
Well, first, Mr. Ferrari, I think it's important we have a policy so everybody gets treated the same and everybody gets treated the way the board wants them to be treated. For the wholesale customers, if we're not billing for those customers, those utilities are welcome to award that credit. I think your logic is sound that for our retail customers, we make that. And recall now, when we talk about pool credits, it's a slippery slope because we're talking about water not going into the sewer. Someone watering a garden may say, well, I've got a credit request as well. So I think a policy would be well advised. That way staff will know how to handle every case.
So I think the policy would state that for retail customers only.
If that's the board's inclination, that's how I'll draft it. Of course, once you see the draft, you may choose to edit, change.
And I think too, with the satellite customers, you're probably gonna start getting all kinds of requests from them. Once you allow them to do that, that's probably good.
I agree with your sentiment for city of Clarksburg, but remain status quo outside the city of Clarksburg.
Okay, that's the way I'll draft it then, and I'll have that ready for your next
Is that
packet.
all
I'll
right?
provide it to Kelly.
Thank you.
Kim.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Drew?
For the month of July, we had no violations to report. Process treated approximately 230 million gallons of wastewater. We took in 140,750 gallons of septic, and we generated $7,471.70 in revenue. Thickener upgrade is now complete and is back in service. We began receiving haulers back today. Michael Inc. completed the job 2 weeks ahead of schedule. So we should start seeing our revenue start picking back up again. Number one raw pump, I got a phone call today. It should be delivered Thursday and installed. Our new security system was installed, and our yearly toxicity test will take place in the coming weeks. And Chad is in the middle of ERA testing as right now. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Johnny?
No more.
Tim, anything more?
Very briefly, I'd have 12. We've already broke the 12. I was lucky enough to spend time with Mr. Workman and Mr. Eddy at their offices over the last few weeks, and I'm more excited than ever to work with the sanitary board. You've got terrific department heads that really have a good handle on service to our people. Along with the pool credits, I'd like to also draft a leak adjustment policy. The PSC rules say that we should have it in our tariff. We don't have it in our tariff. I'm not suggesting we amend the tariff at this point, but at least we could have a written policy about how we would offer customers, if you care to offer customers, leak adjustments, which would be extraordinary use based on some sort of a water event. So with your permission, I'll draft that for you to review for the next meeting as well.
I think we have a practice on how to do that. I don't know if we have a policy.
Yes, sir. We have a practice. We need to put it on paper, I think.
One question before you go, Tim. You anticipate any problems with those easements?
No, sir.
Thank you. Dan?
No further reports.
Anthony? Tom?
I just wanted to report on Brickside, the slip that we're doing with the storm drain issues. And it is ballooning as I use the words with Dan a few minutes ago, is we found that there was a plugged 42-inch pipe down underground that is contributing to the storm drainage that we didn't know about, which I have photos of where we had the rain yesterday where it looks like you could go whitewater rafting down the hill. And so it's going to, two things are happening. Number one, we're going to need to beef up the design of the riprap that's going down the hill and the grout that's associated with it. We're going to use high early strength grout with that. And the part of the pipe is concrete and part of it is corrugated metal. The corrugated metal pipe is going to need to be lined because there's holes in the bottom of it. And so we're going to slip line it is the plan at this point. I just got a quote from the contractor for that for a change order, which is significant, but the engineer and I are going to sit down with them and talk about it prior to issuing any change orders for that. I think that given that the board had authorized us to make changes up to 20%, that we'll probably need to bring it back to the board because I think it'll be over the 20%. So we may need to have an emergency meeting as we move forward with this so that we can get it done. But that's my thoughts at this point in time. If you have any questions, I'll be glad
How
to.
was we funding this project?
I'm sorry.
How was we funding this one?
We're funding it through the renewal and replacement account.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ashley?
The only thing I have is we had pretty good rain yesterday. I asked our inspectors just to release all silk fences we got in place, so we don't have too many, just to make sure nothing blowed out. We don't have washout stuff run out. Gravel, rocks, stuff in the roads and streets, well, I'm not fixed properly, that's all.
Thank you. Councilman Harden?
Nothing to report.
Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, all those in favor?
aye.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
And that-